Okay, so this question is your ordinary level 2009 question. So, the 3D graphic on the right shows a child's playhouse which is made from plastic. Figure B2 below shows the plan and the elevation of the structure. Part A, draw the given plan. So we've already got that bit done. Part B, make a perspective drawing of the structure given the following. The spectator point is 1,440 meters from corner A. The picture plane touches the corner A, and the horizon line is 1,000 millimeters above the ground line. So they want us to draw this to a scale of 1:20. The first thing I'm going to do now to have my plan drawn and I scaled it down is I'm going to locate the spectator, which we are told is 1,440 millimeters away from corner A. So to find it, because we're doing it at a scale as 1:20, we need to divide that number by 20. So that works out at, bear with me now 1 second. .72 millimeters from corner A. So I'll set my set square up the corner A, and I'm going to draw 72 millimeters away. Okay, so that is the position in which my spectator is going to be on. So I'll label that S. Next thing I want to do is I want to set up my cone of vision. So the cone of vision is normally taken, or is always taken, from the two extreme points of our drawing. So that's this point here. And you drop him down to the spectator on this extreme point on this side, and you drop him back to your spectator as well. Okay, so that's our cone of vision. The next thing we want to find is our line of sight. To find the line of sight, we must bisect the angle between the cone of vision. Set your compass to whatever, it doesn't particularly matter as long as you don't change its distance. Where it cuts your line of sight, you scribe a new arc again, and where they meet will give us our line of sight. So that orange line there is now my line of sight. We need the line of sight in order to find the picture plane. The picture plane always runs perpendicular to our line of sight. So if you have an adjustable, then normally come in handy for these questions. So I'll set them up for my line of sight. And I'm going to go perpendicular from the line of sight if it fits. Of course it doesn't. So I'll have to use my sliding set squares in this case. And remember, the picture plane has to pass through point A. Okay, I'm just going to extend them out the far side as well. Okay, so now we have our picture plane, our line of sight, and our cone of vision. what we have left to find is our vanishing points. Now the vanishing points will always move from the spectator at the same angle as our drone. So from the spectator, I'm going to go off this angle here, which is the same as in my plan. Hit the picture plane, and the same out the opposite side. Okay, that's my VP1 and my VP2 on the picture plane. Now we must look at the question to find out the distance between our ground line and our horizontal. So it's 1000 millimeters. So rule of thumb will always be start with the ground line, positioning it as close to the bottom of the page as reasonably possible. And remember that these two lines will go in on your drawing as construction. Do label them, as it makes life that much easier, especially when you have loads of lines. So when you scale it down, it works out at 50 millimeters apart. So I'm going to measure up to 50. And again, remember that these lines are parallel with the picture plane. And that we should always label them. So that's my horizon line, and that's my ground line. Now I want to bring my vanishing points from the picture plane down to intersect the horizontal. So these are going to come down perpendicular through our picture plane onto the horizontal, like so. That's VP1, VP2. Corner A can come down as well, as is. And it hits the ground line. Okay, so we're going to vanish him back to VP1 and VP2. And we're going to measure up any relevant heights that we need on that part of the drawing. So we have up 500 millimeters and 800 millimeters. So when you scale that down, it's coming up 25 and 40. They vanish back to VP1 and VP2 also. These are the only two lines or measurements that we can use on this particular line, because the height lines for this guy will be slightly different as they don't touch the picture plane. We can't gauge its true length down here. So what we'll do is we'll start off by building the front of this house before we move any further. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to get the overall distance, which we've already got, going to our spectator. So we're cut the picture plane, we want to drop it straight down. And we want to get this point in here where it touches the picture plane. So in order to get him, because we don't have him yet, we must bring him to the spectator and then drop him down. Okay, so that's giving us the front part of our shed. Now, because it's hollowed out, we need to vanish this point back to VP1. That's its first height. Second height is here. So we need to find this point to get the slope on the roof. So he too has to be brought down to our spectator, where he cuts the picture plane. We'll drop him down to our perspective. Okay, and he touches here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and darken in some of the lines that I know are going to be full, just to make it a little bit clearer what our object is going to look like. This point here will also have to be vanished back, again because it's hollowed out. Now, I can't figure out how far back this goes as of yet, because I haven't brought down this point here. So, back up to my plan view, catch this distance, bring it to the spectator, and I'm going to drop him down. Where he cuts. Now I need to vanish this point back to VP1. Follow him back down so he cuts here. So that's the end of the slope on that roof. So now I can darken in a few more of those lines. That is the front shape of the dollhouse. We can't get the back roof because it doesn't touch the picture plane, so we can't put the measurements on this line, which means what we got to do is extend a line along here, touch the picture plane, drop it down, and then vanish the various heights from there back. So I extend this line out to hit the picture plane, like so. And we'll drop him down in green, just to make him a wee bit clearer. So where he cuts the picture plane, we want to drop him down. And he's hitting the ground line there. And the measurements for the back of the house in this particular instance will be put onto this guy here. So 700 when we scale him down is going to give us the 35, and 400 when we scale it down is going to give us, these points can now be vanished back to VP1 and VP2. So I can start bringing these points down to find the back of the house. But I have to bear in mind that I have to watch where they're vanishing on the green lines now rather than my pink. So I want to get the back of him first, so where he cuts the picture plane, I'm going to drop it. I'm going to keep most of these, I'm going to keep all these lines in green, try and avoid confusion. Now, I do need to vanish the point along the bottom here as well. Okay. So he's cutting here. We got to bring this point down to the spectator. Where he hits this line, I'm going to vanish him back to VP2. So I'm going to darken in this little line here that I just found. And now I'm going to find how far back the house goes. So remember, he has to touch along the green line this time. So we have that line there, showing how far back he goes as well. So I'm going to darken in a few more of the lines that I know that will go in there. This piece here. This line here. Along base. Along the top. Okay, so what we want to find next is the slant on the roof. So we see that the roof is here, dropping down, and he's touching our line. And he's been vanished back. So we need to find out where he ends also. So we need to bring this point down. So we got to drop him to the spectator. Back of the roof, let's drop to the spectator. Where it hits the picture plane, we're coming down parallel. Now we'll continue with the green lines. This comes up to here. So I'll have to connect him. There, like so. Follow this line back to where he cuts on the middle, which is here. He joins the front of the house to this point. You can see that the slope is starting to build there now. Okay, so with the front of the slope, there's also a back of the slope, which means we need to take more points down from the plan view into the elevation. So I want to find where this slope ends. I'll bring this point to my spectator. He's coming right along A. He's already coming down, which is brilliant. And we got to find where he then vanishes off. So what I'll do, I'll bring this guy back to my spectator, or back to my vanishing point, sorry. Well, that line crosses this particular line here, which I'm just going to put in for handing the stick. Let's go back to the spectator so it's more or less coming down a line with A anyway, but just to make it that bit clearer, and he's catching around there. We're not going to see all of that slope, so I'm only going to put in part of it dark that we need. He will be intersecting the roof. Like so. So that leaves us now only with the window. And I made those two marks earlier on in the drawing, so that I know the position of the window along the top of this wall. So when I go to bring them down. So I got to bring both those points to my spectator. This one here is pretty much in line as is, so I know that that's going to be a line along my window. And I'm going to bring this fella down. So he hits my picture plane there, so I have to drop him. I have to drop him, I'll keep him with my green. So my window is somewhere in here. And we know the width of the wall is 300. So scale him down. Which is equal to 75, so 7.5 millimeters either side of that line. And I want to banish both those lines back to our VP. This in turn should start to build the window for us. And that one is pretty much coming along that line I had in from earlier on. So to darken in the window now, I'm going to pick out my 4 corners before I try to darken them in to make sure I have the right ones. It's just a matter of drawing in our box. So again, to get the window, I had to bring my points down from the plan to where to cut this surface. I measured up on the true length line the halfway point, then I moved out 7.5 and 7.5 for the window, which on the scale is 300, vanished it back to BP1 and matched the lines up. And that is that question complete.